sun is out again today. I'm expecting that heat wave and stuff to come anytime soon, usually during around these times of the year anyways. And with that in mind, what's going on today? Lots of interesting stuff. I guess it revolves around conflict for the most part. How about this first one? I guess it's one of those things where military drones are a thing nowadays and some people are just okay with it all of a sudden. This one says, we need lots of drones from the West to help defeat Vladimir Putin, Ukraine minister says. In an interview with Insider, Mykola Fedorov said that while Ukraine appreciated help from Western countries in the form of financial support and sanctions on Russia and its elite, its forces were in dire need of weapons and drones in particular. The Russians are strong in the information space, but we have quite a competent system defending against that. But if we're talking about war, what we need is heavy weapons that's critical, he said. Ukraine is working to modernize its armed forces with all kinds of drones or unmanned aerial vehicles. Fedorov said it could be strike UAVs, intelligence reconnaissance and target acquisition, logistics, everything related to unmanned vehicles, aerials and otherwise, big and small. He added, bottom line, we need lots of drones, all kinds of drones. And it talks about how they created even fundraising platforms just to get money to buy drones here called the United 24 on May 29th that has now collected donations worth more than $75 million. It is also raising funds to create a drone army, Fedorov said. All this talk of drones spying, weapons and so forth with an average individual, yet here again, all this war, officials using it, everyone's okay with it, keep funding it, etc, etc. At this rate, it just feels like it will never end too, I guess, with the war between them. It's almost like no one wants to, quote, I guess, talk or negotiate. It's just keep piling up the weapons, keep trying to kill each other. It's a little unfortunate. And the other bits I read kind of related, I guess, with conflicts between, I guess, citizens and the government. I'm actually surprised a lot of these aren't everywhere in terms of the mainstream news and all that. I was just kind of browsing around saying, hey, what's this? That looks kind of crazy. Like, how about this one? Apparently in the Netherlands, like here it says, the Dutch farmers are not messing around. Amazing. Holy cow. Look at all those, I guess, tractors and farmers and stuff and all that. They're blocking the road. I guess the immediate thing comes to mind is this kind of like what happened here in Canada with the truckers and so forth. And then more pictures like Dutch farmers warn Mark Rutte, if that's how you say it, the protests will continue. We have the support of millions of people. There will be actions the Holland has never seen before. So what is going on? Well, apparently there is this new regulation or something like that where they propose to reduce things like nitrogen levels, like when it comes to things like farmers, and people are saying that will kill a lot of the small farmers. There's no way, so that's why they're all protesting. Like this one here says, farmer protests on nitrogen reduction continue a blockade at Warden. Farmers have once more blockaded a jumbo food distribution center in Warden, rolling in with around 30 tractors at 3 a.m., a sofa, coffee, and a table, reports the AD. The protest is the latest in a week of actions that some farmers threatened would bring the country to a standstill and which food retailers group CBL has warned will cost supermarkets tens of millions of euros. Scores of farmers have been arrested and an investigation is ongoing into why police shot a 16-year-old farmer's son, Juk Hospe, from Akram at a protest in Heerenveen on Tuesday. He was arrested after a policeman suggested he was driving his tractor towards police threateningly. However, a case against him was dropped. His family has said he has considered making a formal protest against police. Wow, it's really serious over there too. It says the farmers are protesting at government aims to reduce nitrogen compound emissions by 50% by 2030 and by 75% in protected nature reserves known as Natura 2000 areas. The latest demonstrations were sparked by government announcements suggesting some farmer closures were inevitable in June, and a detailed map suggested which areas needed reductions from 12% to 95%. So that doesn't sound good where you release a policy and it's kind of like, shrug shoulders, we know some of you are going to lose, I guess, your livelihood, but oh well, that's a sacrifice. Actually, funny enough, that actually reminds me of Transport Canada, that meeting where the regulations they made absolutely no sense, and their mindset was, is it gonna, for example, get people out of, let's just say, I don't know, the hobby and so forth? It's just, well, I don't care, so to speak. That's what I felt like. That's just the way it is. I mean, if it's not proper, it doesn't make sense, you shouldn't actually do it overall. I would imagine in this case, it's one of those things where you can't just instantly go from one thing to another just like that. Now here in Canada, the government did not want to talk to the protesters, but according to this anyways, it feels like it's the other way around, where they wanted to bring in, I guess, a mediator who is a former politician, but it says the farming organization LTO has refused to negotiate. I guess people just had enough per se. And I was reading more about, I guess, just people really against whatever like the government is doing per se. Like they don't think they're doing a good job. How about this one? It says Sri Lanka citizens chilling in their president's residence. Apparently they completely took over, I guess, all the government building stuff. I mean, look at that. What the heck happened here, huh? It's like everyone's just so upset. Like even all these posts, it's around 5:30 a.m. in New York. I wish more people were up right now to see this because this is so crazy. It's the middle of the afternoon in Sri Lanka and the people have stormed the presidential palace. Yeah, you can say that. So what happened here? Apparently, I guess the government made so many bad decisions, I guess, over the years where they have no more money. Some people are starving, prices are up the roof. And because of that, I guess all the government and stuff, they were quitting, like even the president per se. It says here, Sri Lankan opposition parties plan unity government after president quits. Prime Minister as well as Rajapaksa will step down after months of protests culminated in attacks on their homes. Again, I was wondering how come news like these aren't everywhere? That's nuts what's going around in the world. I mean, in these places, I guess you could say people have just had enough, and unfortunately that's what happens, I guess, when so many people just feel like they have no other choice but to, like, I guess, do stuff like this per se. Now will leaderships and stuff around the world start to listen, or will they still say, nope, I'm the one in charge, I have all the power, you do as I say? I mean, unfortunately that's kind of like how it was here when it came to protests from what I saw. Thinking about it too, there's actually been quite a few bits of news of high-level politicians just resigning before their terms up and all that. For example, even here locally, actually, it makes me wonder why. Is this just a coincidence, or did some people just royally screw up so much, and now instead of, I guess, taking responsibility and all that, it's jump out of the ship, I guess, before it sinks and all that. Let someone else deal with it. Maybe that's the case, but who knows? Again, just based on all these news and all that you read, it seems like a lot of people just had enough. Alright, see you guys later.